My name is Katie and I'm an MA Applied Linguistics student at the University of Reading. And today I'm going to be talking to you about my experience of MA Applied Linguistics, some of the modules, how the programme is run, and just in general some of the things I really enjoyed about the programme. So it's worth noting that I got into Applied Linguistics because I undertook my BA in English Language and Applied Linguistics, and I actually took my undergraduate at Reading. So I already knew that the department were amazing and supportive, and because I wanted to continue my studies, I knew that Reading was the best place for me to do that. So I decided to do my undergraduate degree, and then I went straight on and I did Applied Linguistics. It's worth noting that the department actually offered 2 masters. So we have Applied Linguistics and also TESOL. So Applied Linguistics, what I do, is kind of more how language works, how is it used, how can we apply it to real life settings and contexts, whereas TESOL is very practical. So this is more kind of applied to teaching English as a second language. So for all the teachers out there that want more knowledge about how language is used in their teaching practices, TESOL is probably more preferable. So there are kind of 2 pathways in the department that students can take. So I chose Applied Linguistics, but it's worth noting that whichever one you take, there's flexibility to take modules from the other, so you can really tailor your masters to however you want to do it. So I guess that there are basically 2 compulsory modules in autumn term and 1 optional module, and the same applies for spring term. And then in summer term you have your final project, which is your dissertation or your portfolio, and that's when you get to do your own piece of research and work and write that up and submit it. So for autumn term, the compulsory modules that I took were Foundations of Language Study and Second Language Learning Principles. So I learned about phonology and grammar, so using the IPA and being able to transcribe what people are saying, whereas grammar, you're kind of breaking down sentences into their word classes and learning basically how sentences and the English language are put together. So both sounds and grammar are really fundamental, especially for the rest of the masters. And beyond that, whereas second language learning principles, we basically learn about how people learn their second language and whether that's different from their first language, and what kind of differences there are. So both compulsory modules were fascinating and really set you up for the rest of the masters. And because there are 180 credits overall in the masters, you have the opportunity to take an optional module in the autumn term. So I took corpus design, so I learned about kind of word frequencies and understanding that if words are associated with one another, then they usually have a meaning behind that. So that was fascinating. And already you can see such a variety in everything that we learn about. So for spring term, the compulsory modules that I took were research design methods and sociolinguistics. So research design methods, you're learning about the different methodologies that you can use in language, and that really prepares you for your final dissertation because you learn about statistics and all the different methodologies that you can use. So whether you're going to use it for your dissertation or beyond that in kind of further study, that module was kind of integral to academic research. And the other compulsory module, sociolinguistics, you're basically learning how language is used in society, and all the different variables that affect the way people speak around the UK and beyond. So that was fascinating. And my optional module for spring term was language and migration, and I think that was probably my favourite module of the whole programme, because we learnt about how English is used in migration trajectories, so how people use English in teaching, refugees and migrants. And it was just fascinating, and it was so interesting and applicable. And even our assessment, we went and actually collected evidence from a charity in Reading, a women's charity that focused on BAME, so ethnic minority women, and they were all migrant women, and we were able to help their organisation and offer help and support with their English classes. So we were able, with the case study assignment, offer recommendations. So not only do we have such a diverse range of modules, but they're also so applicable, and even while studying your MA, there is opportunities to help the kind of wider community, and it's incredible. So that's autumn and that's spring term. And then you have your final major project. So that's the dissertation or the portfolio, depending on which track you're doing. And the dissertation is incredible. So I'm currently doing my dissertation at the moment, and it should be quite a stressful time, but everybody's doing things that they really enjoy, and they're picking things that are interesting to them, and, they're doing their own pieces of research. So this is the kind of chance to really take what we've learned and put it into practice and produce a good, really interesting, good piece of research that people will find, people will read and be interested in and invest in. So for the dissertation, you get your own supervisor, and they're able to provide feedback and help support you throughout the process. So the whole summer is dedicated to the dissertation, and it's such an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to kind of submitting it and seeing what people think. So that was quite a nutshell of what we do in MA Applied Linguistics. But just in general, I've really, really enjoyed the programme. I've met some lovely people who are going to be lifelong friends. The staff have been amazing and have proven, that they've continued to be supportive, and just amazing professors to be around. So I cannot recommend the MA enough, and if you decide to study at Reading, I'm sure you'll enjoy it and find it as fascinating as I did.